good afternoon. We are so excited to be with you one more day. I know, Thanksgiving took place. I hope everybody had a wonderful time with their family. I'm so happy here. We have Havilland with a D, Maxwell joining us today as we're really just having some good old fun and talking about the positive power of self-talk. And she works with businesses, but this is a topic that really is transferable to everybody and so we'll talk about that in a second. But again, hope you had a wonderful time with your family. So when you talk about positive self-talk and positive talk around the table for Thanksgiving, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. Did you? I ate a lot.
I ate
and laughed a lot.
I did too. Actually, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays because it's all about food, fellowship, and fun.
Family and fun.
It's not, you don't have to buy a whole bunch of gifts.
Yeah.
Hey, Michaela, thanks for joining in. But I love Thanksgiving.
That's
and
cool.
The weather's not super cold. And,
Right, like it is now.
It is cold. So wherever you guys are, I hope you're keeping warm. As you can see, we have nice sweaters on today. It's all about the sweaters. So anyway, I'm so happy to really just talk to you as we talk about, we were actually just reminiscing on some of the things at the Wise Woman Rise event, and Havilland was excellent as far as sharing her passion and a variety of different things that she's doing, because there's so many different things that she's doing. But we were just really talking about the impact and power of confidence, and it just is a perfect feed-in to what we're talking about here today, which is that sometimes we really take for granted, especially self-talk, because sometimes we can self-talk ourselves out of doing something, or we can just build up anxiety or fear and all that kind of stuff. So that's really, really our topic today. And Havilland, before we hop in there, please tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a woman of many, many talents and many, many passions, but do please share a little bit about yourself with our audience.
Well, hey everyone, thank you for having me.
Of course.
My name is Havilland Maxwell of HavillandMaxwell.com, and I am a creative business coach and an on-camera personality. When I'm not coaching freelancers and small businesses on how to attract clients and build confidence and gain clarity, I am an actor and a voice actor, and today I did some hair modeling. So I was doing the hair modeling thing today before I came here. So we talked a little bit about just passion, and we were talking just a minute ago. One of mine is encouraging folk, and I have an encourage-based coaching program and action-based coaching program, because I think a lot of our struggles are internal struggles, and some of those can be really corrected and revised if we learn how to talk to ourselves the right way.
I so agree. Yeah. Hey Terry, thanks for joining us, and hey Bridget, thank you very much for joining us. But this is interactive, so if you guys have any questions, feel free. We'll definitely include that. But go ahead and tell us, we talk about the impact as you were growing up or through influences in your life. Has there been any particular people as it relates to self-talk? I know that's usually to yourself, but sometimes really speaking words of inspiration and encouragement. Is there anybody that kind of comes to mind that has really helped to mentor you or coach you or inspire you as you've been on this journey?
I have several mentors, and when I was starting out freelancing in voiceover, one of my mentors is Gerald McBride, and he's a well-known DJ and radio personality in Detroit, Michigan. And he would always talk about having your own thing, having your own business, but also, understanding and believing that you had the power to be able to do that. And seeing him, he has a family-owned business, and seeing him come from not knowing how to do something to building this business where people all over the country kind of support him and all of that. And in understanding or telling us, hey, you can have this too. I think that was the first, shift in my mindset where I was like, oh, because I wasn't thinking about being a business owner. I wasn't thinking about having my own thing. I always assumed I would work for someone else. Never really thought about it. You know what I mean? I didn't take the time to think about the fact that I could have something outside of what was the norm and what was expected of me.
Yeah.
So he kind of planted that seed and said, is this what you really want to do? And I said, it's what I want to do. And he was like, okay, then you need to believe that you can have it, and then you go from there. So he's a major influence in my whole shift in attitude. And then from there, I really had to study a lot on my own. I love that.
Yeah. So, hey Donovan, thanks for joining us. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to this point, because I know you've had so many different experiences. When we talked about corporate, she gave away all her suits. So she has moved. She made a mental and a physical shift.
Yes.
So
I was just telling Charm that I gave away all my business suits. So I was in corporate for a long time, and I got laid off, as many people do. And I was in the second round of layoffs, and I was doing voiceover for on-hold messages for the company I worked for. The phone guy was like, hey, maybe you should do the phone message. And that sparked it for me. Okay. And he said, oh, maybe you should consider going to this broadcast school. And I got laid off in the second round of layoffs. And I said, oh, well, I guess I'm going back to school. Okay. So I went to school, got on-camera experience, got voiceover experience, and that really opened the door for a new, kind of career shift for me and a new way of life for me. I was taught from the old school, you go to school. Mine was a household that said you want to do the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, I don't care where you go, or you going to college. Pick one, and that's it. And then you get a job, you get a house, you get some white picket fence, you get married, you have kids. That's kind of how it was supposed to be mapped out. You know what I mean? And it didn't work out that way for me. And after I left corporate, I decided, you know what, let's just try this. Let's try something new. And I started from the bottom and just kind of worked my way up. That opened the door for me to have opportunities to do acting, to do hand modeling, to do voice work and things like that. And then many years later, I decided, because so many people would say, how do you start? What do you do? What should I do? Where should I go? How much should I charge? I thought, oh, well, I know a little something. So I'm going to try my best to help other folks. And so I put together a coaching program based on that. So, I mean, it took a while to get to this point.
Sure.
In the way of, close to 10 years. You know what I mean? It's been a 10-year kind of journey. But I'm so thankful that that door was closed. Like, I gave away all my suits because I was like, I'm not going back to corporate. No, ain't happening. So that was a push for me to say, this is what you want, so you better work hard to get it. Because now you ain't got no suits to wear to work if you did get a corporate job.
Let's just have a little real talk for a minute here, because in our country, this weekend, just the last couple of days, and I actually heard another company was laying off additional people. So that is, you do think, okay, I'm doing all the right things. I'm kind of checking the boxes of what supposed to be,
what I'm supposed to be doing,
what you're supposed to be doing, and then sometimes you get that curveball. So I think what you're sharing might be an inspiration for someone that might be, that might just got that news and might just said, like, what are we going to do? I got to pay all these bills. This wasn't the plan.
That's it. It wasn't the plan.
It wasn't the plan, right?
It shakes some people up, and it definitely shook me up, because I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, positive self-talk, helped me, right away. No, this has been a journey, but I still knew that I could have something different. That's the thing, and if you believe that, and this is not a diss against corporate. If you love the corporate environment, if you love going to a 9 to 5, then by all means, do what you do. But if you have always dreamed of something, and something won't leave you alone, then that means you should, explore another path. And so I'm a big advocate of that. Dip your toe in the water at least, so you won't leave with regret saying, I should have done that. And now it's been 20 years later, because that stuff creeps up on you real quick.
It does.
When I was at my job, I'd been there for 7 years before I got let go. And I thought to myself, I could stay here a little while longer. And I would have just gone riding along had nothing shifted me. So I think when those shifts happen, don't get stressed out about it, because it might be a blessing in disguise. It might be an opportunity for you to do the thing that you said you wanted to do a long time ago, and you haven't taken the step to do it. Right?
So, do you, in hindsight, because you kind of get comfortable sometimes,
you
say, oh, well, things are good, but I'm kind of, you kind of, do you feel like if you hadn't kind of had that shift, do you feel like you might have ever really taken the suit off for you?
I'm a believer that if you are supposed to be on this road over here, you'll eventually get there. And I think that in the very beginning, I wasn't honest about what I really wanted to do anyway. That's the problem. And because you have so many influences on your life telling you what you're supposed to be doing, you decide to take that road first. So I believe that I'm on the road I was supposed to be on anyway, but I would have gotten there sooner had I just said, this is not really what I want. And and so many people are at that place, but then they get afraid because something shifted them, like a layoff, losing their job, whatever, something happens, they get hurt on their job, they can't go back to it, they're afraid, and then they stay stagnant, and then they just say, well, I'll just go to what I know. That's the thing. You got to bust through what you want to get to and let that fear go, and then say, you know what, I'm going to step out on the other side and just try it anyway. So I think eventually you'll fall back where you're supposed to be if you allow it and if you're open to it. That's the thing. You gotta be open to it.
I agree. And I think even along the journey, because I talk to so many people, because we talk about what's your passion, what are you doing, and so many people don't know what their passion is, right?
And that's fine.
And so part of just finding out your passion or what your purpose is through life experiences, right?
Yes.
And so even like you said, if you're on a corporate job and all is going well there, you know, it might be comfortable, but still there may be opportunities to try new things so that you can maybe grow yourself.
Yes.
And just like you said, you were helping out on the phone, and you know, and then that opened up a whole
new door. I wasn't even thinking about it. But the thing is, I went with that and didn't just say, oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
It sparked something in me that was already there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It was already there. And I was like, what is this world? I want to be a part of that world. So it's like being open and receptive to changing the narrative that was created for you. That's the thing. You have to be open and receptive to doing that.
Man.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So, yes, we got a lot of people.
We're leaning in because we got issues with the eyes, so don't get mad and laugh.
Felicia and Kathy, thank you so much for that. Please talk about positive self-talk. She did my makeup for the Women Rise, and she took me to a new place. So, special shout out. Thank you again. I want to pop a color, and she put it there. So, let's talk about that a little bit. So, we kind of learned through the experiences how you kind of got out there. So now, I know that you're doing coaching. It sounds like you're doing hand modeling. You're doing a variety of different things. Yeah. But really, now that you're in this new place, what would you say really just makes your heart sing and just feel like I am in my purpose? Or is it that you are doing so many different things and touching so many different people? Do you like that aspect of the diversity that you're never feeling like I'm bored kind of thing?
Yes, all of the above. I love with the acting and all that good stuff. I'm around creative folk.
Okay.
And there's a process, and there's figuring things out, and they're creating magic every single time they're doing something. Okay. With the coaching, I get another part of that. I'm an encourager by nature. So for me, I'm able to say, yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
Stop talking like that about yourself.
Yes.
Stop saying you can't. Stop saying you're broke. And pulling people out of those places they've been in for a very long time. Like that fuels me. When I hear the little change in their voice, and I hear and I see the light bulb go off, like, oh, you're right. I just had somebody who was doing something, and she just kept saying, I'm sorry. She kept apologizing. And I was like, stop apologizing, first of all. Right. I think that's a habit that sometimes women have. We apologize a lot. I said, you're fine. Let's just take it again. Let's talk about it again. And let's fix where we are. And so I like helping people pull themselves out of that mud and then getting out to where they really were anyway, but they didn't have anybody to encourage them to do that. So
to me, the power of your word to yourself, but also to others, because sometimes, have you ever had that day when it's like nothing is going right, and you're trying to like juggle life, and you're just like, Lord, I don't know if I can take one more thing.
Yes.
And then out of the blue, you have somebody that it just says one small little thing, or that encouraging word at the time that you needed, and I mean,
it changes everything.
It just changes everything.
It changes
so
everything.
You never know, and I say that as a mother too, because so many times we want so much for our children, but we have to be careful of that self-esteem, that we're not ripping it down with our words in this, in the
words are powerful.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, every single word you say has meaning.
Yes.
That's the thing. If you take anything else away from this whole thing, words you say have power, and they have meaning. And self-talk is really, if you don't know what that is, it's really the internal dialogue that we have with ourselves. It's the thoughts that, nobody else can hear. You're standing in line and you're at the store and you're like, I'm always broke. I never have enough money. I always have to wait till Friday, or I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, or, that kind of stuff. And you say that all the time and then wonder why your money's not right. and you wonder why you can't pull yourself out of that hole, or you have a business and you're like, I can't do it, I'm not that smart, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to get, you know, that's the thing, like, it's that internal dialogue, it's that message that we feed to our brain all the time that tells us, it creates our habits and it creates our action. That's the thing that people don't understand. The more you say negative things, that's blocking you from taking action, and it's blocking you from forming positive habits. That's the thing, and you have to have positive habits if you're going to be successful. So that's the basis of that what self-talk really is. So if you find yourself in those spaces, recognize where you are first of all. Like, that's the biggest step to conquering negative self-talk, is recognizing that you have it.
Yes.
Because some of y'all got it and y'all don't think y'all got it. You know what I mean? And I was like that.
Yes.
I felt like I was like, I'm so positive.
Yes. But
no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
No.
And it's because I was in an environment when I grew up. And that's the other thing. You said something about that. You know, when you grow up, maybe you come from a background where all you heard was, you're not this, you ain't good enough.
Right.
You like your daddy, you like your mama, you ain't never going to amount to anything. That's wiring that's sent to our brains at a very early age. Imagine if you hear 10 years of that.
Yes.
20 years of that.
Right.
You feel like you can't shake it because you feel like that's what you are at that point. Unless you recognize where you are. So that's what I mean. You have to really stop and recognize, what are the messages that I've been getting my whole life? And how is that impacting how I talk to myself today?
Yes.
Right? That's the first step. You got to recognize where you are. And then think about your environment. It wasn't your parents. Was it your grandmother who raised you? Was it your auntie? Was it your cousins? You know what I mean? A lot of business owners say that, where they don't have positive people around them to encourage them in their business. And which is why I say you need to get some nice business friends.
I mean, I think it's okay to put boundaries up.
Absolutely.
If you are in an environment, or even if you have a peer group that's not the most positive, because I find a lot of times when you're in those groups, everybody's it's contagious, right?
Yes.
So if you have a lot of negativity and you're wondering why the group is still stagnant, and each year is still, it's because it's kind of that. It's like you gotta get some
swimming in it.
You're swimming in it.
You can't just be like immersed in it, and that's why it's so important for you to start now to build up what I like to call like a force field around you.
I love it.
So if you start like today, or even teach your children to start early. So when you have people that are coming in and telling you you're not good enough, you don't know anything, you're a woman, you're not smart enough, or you're a man, you're not like a good father, or whatever the case may be, you've already built this force field of power around you because you believe these things you've been telling yourself, regardless of what anybody else is saying about you. And so then when that stuff comes, or when you're in a group, you're not affected by it as much because you feel like you got your little force field up, you got your shield up, and so it's just bouncing off of that. You know what I mean?
No.
That's a good way for you to stop some of that from penetrating your surface. You know what I mean?
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So at work today, I was actually talking to someone, and their daughter, I think they were just at a fast food place, and they got like the same thing they order all the time there, and the person working there must have been new and didn't know it. And the lady's daughter actually said, respectfully, maybe you need to add, like, I know that this is here because I order it all the time. But she was so proud of her daughter in that space because she was using her voice in a respectful way. And I say that because I think that's a generation. I came from a generation where it was, like, you have a place. Your voice is not...
Children stay in their place.
Like...
respect your adults.
Right. An adult says something, even if it's not wrong. And so...
Even if it's wrong.
Even if it's wrong. And I think as a mother, I have seen my daughter where my natural inclination is, wait a minute, that's not your place or whatever. But she's right. And she's... If someone's not, she's setting boundaries.
Absolutely.
And she's actually coached me in that regard to say, in a respectful way.
Yes.
But if something's not okay, it's not okay. Or if somebody's not being positive and pouring into her,
that's the thing.
I think that
love yourself enough to
Yes.
set the boundary, and love yourself enough to stand up for yourself and say, this is not serving me.
This is not serving
this
me.
place where you
Yes.
all are in,
I agree.
I'm not necessarily in that place.
Yes.
You can love folk from afar.
I agree.
And you can be friends from afar.
You can be
okay, but they don't have to be in your circle.
And it's okay.
That's right. It's okay, especially if they're affecting your self-worth.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? If you're letting them hold you down, they got to go.
Yeah.
And don't feel bad about, doing that. Like you said,
Yeah.
you have to love yourself enough. And that's the thing. Put yourself first. I think Sean Robinson had a quote out about, how we talk to ourselves is one of the most important conversations we'll have.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's so important.
Yes.
And if you feel like any space around you is blocking that growth, they got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you or them, and it's got to be you.
No.
That's what it is.
I love it.
I agree.
love it. Well,
And you can be respectful. That's
and
the
you
thing.
can be respectful. And sometimes you're inspiring someone else that maybe, is not in the place or going through some things that might need some support. And for somebody not just to go along with things or say, this is not okay, that might be what somebody else needs to say, you know what, I'm glad you said that because I was feeling this and I thought I was the only one.
No, you said something about your voice and being, really proud of yourself to use your voice. Remember when I was with you and I said, if there's anybody who used to watch A Different World, how many of y'all used to watch A Different World?
I watched A Different World.
My 2 hands is up on that. I used to love that show.
Yes.
I was telling Charm on A Different World. None of y'all watched A Different World?
No, they
really?
didn't. Dee Dee's on there. I know she watched it.
Okay.
Chanel.
Terry, you haven't watched it. Okay. Some of y'all
I know
watched
somebody
A
in Different World.
Okay,
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right. Don't act like I'm the only one who loves Ryan Whitley, okay? So, on A Different World, many moons ago, there was an episode with Whoopi Goldberg guest starred, and she was talking to Tisha Campbell. And Tisha Campbell had to give a speech, and she was HIV positive, which was one of the, really taboo subjects back in the early 90s. And she had to stand up and give a speech, and she said to her, because she was really afraid of using that voice for good and explaining, what's going on. You did watch it. Good.
Yeah, there
all right.
Okay.
And so she said to her, right before she started talking, she said, you are a voice in this world, and you deserve to be heard. And I swear I have kept that from the 90s. I remember that never went away from me. And I want you guys to understand, you deserve to be heard, but you also deserve to respect yourself and love yourself enough to send yourself positive messages.
I love it.
You know what I mean? You got to do it. You got to do it. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Girl, you taking me back to a different world. That's how I ended up going to Hampton.
Right. Everybody
went
I'm going to Black
to
College.
a different world. Yes, I love that show. But no, that was powerful. And they had a lot of amazing people always on there.
I am a voice in this world, and I deserve to be heard. Y'all need to type that. Type
no,
that
I love
right
that.
now.
That was good. We'll have to put that one on a t-shirt.
Right.
So tell us, I know some of your coaching as it relates to helping people, because we talk about social media and some of the different things, and that's another platform that you can really use your voice. And I think really the self-talk is really the beginning, right? It's pouring the fuel in you that you then will, it kind of is the source of what you then will give out to other people, right? And so I know that you have some things coming up as far as utilizing your voice as a resource, as some coaching. And I know, social media, I talked to some people that are on social media and some that are okay, I don't really know how to utilize my voice, or how do I shift into my power, or, can you speak to that at all, since you're a professional as it relates to being on camera? And
I will say, if you don't feel good about who you are and where you are, what your place is in this world, it will be very difficult for you to attract the people you need to attract. Whether it be your clients, whether it be people you want to reach motivationally, emotionally, or what have you, you need to have a solid feeling of who you are first, and that's really important before you go out and try to spread your message on social media. Social media can be a wonderful place, but I don't want people to get caught up in see me, because it's really all about see me, notice me, and all that good stuff. What are you doing to make that space, that platform better? I think is really, really the question. What are you doing to help someone else? Are you using your message and your voice to help others? what are you doing to serve others? Because really we're servants and we're here to serve other folk.
Yes.
If you're a hairstylist, you're serving somebody and you're helping them with their hair, which helps them with their self-esteem, all that good kind of stuff. If you're sewing buttons on a shirt and you know how to sew and I don't, you're helping me with your service.
Absolutely.
If you're homeschooling your kids and I don't know how to do that,
Right.
you're helping me. But you have to get to a place where you feel good about the space you're in, and you feel confident in your ability so that you can share it with other folks. Because people know when you're not confident. They sense it. They smell it.
Yes.
Okay? They smell it and they go for blood when they know that you're not really feeling yourself. So I really caution people to spend a lot of time, you know what I mean? And start now, and I can give you some tips on that, but I mean, spend time now in cultivating that wonderful relationship with yourself. Because then when you open the thing to go live, they'll feel it coming off of you.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, they feel it.
Yes.
You're genuinely with them. They feel you want to help them. That's what you want them to feel like, I love you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to serve you, not just take your cash and go on about your business. You know what I mean?
Well,
But you gotta feel good when you're doing that. It's gotta come off of you.
I think we've all been around people that you just don't, you know, in the moment you're like, I don't know what it is, but this person just brings, you know, they just
you feel it when you walk into the room,
and then you see, you know, if you have somebody else that is still working on their confidence, and you just, you know, like you're kind of like, you know, you can feel it. So I love that.
And sometimes you can piggyback off of, like, if I wasn't feeling the greatest and Charm had good energy and I'm sitting next to her, energy transfer. So, you know, and maybe her confidence is a little bit, you know, so it's okay to have a friend, a BFF, or business partner, whatever, that you lean on sometimes too.
Or you just having a bad day.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you need, like, help me. You know what I mean? You gotta have that, and that's fine, because some days you may not be 100% there, and that's okay. But the difference is when you start to practice positive self-talk every single day, that space when you used to be angry about something, you'll find yourself, the time will be lessened. You won't be as angry. So for me, I wasn't the most positive person. Like, I was kind of like Eeyore a little bit. You know, like the Eeyore, the Winnie the Pooh? I was like that. And things would just plague me. And sometimes I find myself getting into that space again where I feel like, I was telling Charm, I was really frustrated about coaching, and I was like, I'm quitting. I ain't doing this no more, you know. And now, whereas before I might have stayed in that place for about 3 weeks, okay, honestly. But now I might stay in it for 3 days. Even though it's 3 days, it's a lot less to me, and it shows me that I have had growth because I'm not there as long as I used to be. I'm not wallowing in it. I mean, my friends would really get agitated, like, really, you're calling me about this again? Like, cut it out, you know what I mean? But I would just wallow and wallow. So now, because I have my affirmations, because I practice, because I do things, because I inhale positive content, I'm like, okay, I can get out of this, and I can snap out of it in a couple of days. It may take me the weekend, and then by Sunday night, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm good. Let me quit tripping. And then somebody will call and say, hey, thank you for that. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. Let me shut up. I'm good. You know what I mean?
I mean, let's just,
so, you know, it's not easy. I don't want to give you the impression, you guys, that it's so easy to change. It's not easy to change. And if you've been a negative person, or you've been around negative people your whole life, it takes some rewiring, and it takes some programming. There is a man by the name of Dr. Shad Helmstetter, and he has a book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, right? And he talks about how you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and reprogramming. He says you wouldn't walk into, in a scenario, you wouldn't go into an airplane or walk into the airplane and you knew the computer programming was bad. So what you gonna do when you walk into so what would you guys do if you walked into an airplane and you found out the stewardess greets you as like, hi, our programming's bad?
Yes.
What would you do? Tell me what y'all would do. I'm about to read it.
Yeah, Donovan's inhale.
That's right.
Like that.
I love that. Love this. And Terry said, I love this. I need to work on this. Yeah. So listen, if you get in that situation and you were about to walk onto the plane and they're like, our computer programming, our box is bad.
Yeah, you're like,
you're either gonna roll out. Or you're going to say, I'm canceling my flight, or whatever the case may be. You're not going to put up with that. That's right. You're going to walk off.
I agree.
Exactly, you're going to walk off. So why would you sit there and let that penetrate you any other way? Like, you wouldn't walk into a plane that was faulty. Why are you allowing yourself to be in situations that are faulty? Why are you allowing your mind to go to places all the time that are negative? You're not going to grow that way, right? You're either going to fall off the plane, or you're going to die. So it's the same with you. Like, you're killing yourself in a way, your mindset, every single day that you allow yourself to keep, festering this negativity. So you've got to work on reprogramming yourself.
I love that. And sometimes, I don't know if the end of the week or even sometimes at the end of the day where you feel like you're on all day and you just feel empty, and sometimes you just might need to go for a minute, like meditation, or get, have some inspiration, or read something, or listen to some music, or work out, or ways to kind of refill. Because I think what you just said, it's not, I know Mary Poppins is coming out again, but you don't like walk around with your little umbrella like, hi, I love everything. The real deal is you have highs, you have lows.
You do.
But we're talking about an overall aura, or overall kind of, just an overall aura. That doesn't mean you never can get down. And I think sometimes it's okay to realize, and that's why for me, it's important for me to be around positive people, because I'm going to need to pour into them just like sometimes I need them to pour on me. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of an exchange. You know what I mean? So
it is. It is. And I think, you said other people. Have an accountability partner. That's another thing that I recommend. So when you start this journey, I actually want you guys to start tonight. Who is willing to start tonight? Because I'm going to give you 5 or 6 tips on positive self-talk that can help you reshape or reframe your mindset today. So who's willing to start tonight? I'm willing to start tonight.
I will.
Y'all don't want to start tonight? Donovan, you ain't starting tonight?
Donovan, he's a go-getter. I know he's
Okay,
what's the number one?
So the number one thing is acknowledge where you are.
Okay.
We're talking about acknowledge where you are. Second thing is be open and willing to change. That's the thing. Okay. You've got, homework. You got to be open and receptive to say, maybe I haven't been speaking kind thoughts to myself. Another way to look at it is, would you talk to your best friend the way that you talk to yourself? Okay?
Oh, I agree.
Good. I'll start. Wonderful. The next thing I would say is have an accountability partner.
I love it.
So like my friend told her friend, and he said, what would happen if they hear you talking like that? That's her accountability partner showing up and showing out for her because he cares about her growth. You need to have somebody who's going to correct you when you hear them saying, I ain't got, I can't do, I don't know how. You got to have somebody say, is that right?
A lot of times you don't even know you're saying it if you're doing it. So, and can I just pause? Because one of the things that kind of aligns with this is that feedback is a gift.
Yes.
So
don't take it as criticism.
Don't take it as criticism. If your goal is really to make a change and you have an accountability partner, just like you said, you have to be open.
Yeah.
But
which
take
means
it
being
as
honest.
a gift.
Which means being honest with yourself.
That means being honest, because some gifts you get, may not fit. You couldn't
really
receive.
want them.
And that's okay,
that's
right?
That's all right.
But it is a gift,
Yes,
right? So I just say that because sometimes I hear people like, I need all this. Then you
That's
try to give them some loving feedback and they're not open to it.
When you have the accountability partner and you name this person and tell them what you're trying to accomplish. And don't get mad when they say that's not what you're supposed to be saying. Right? Because they're just trying to help you because they care about you. Okay, the next thing is start tonight, y'all. Start tonight before you go to bed. Dr. Wayne Dyer said something that he would say that was very simple. Before he would go to sleep every night, he would say, good things are happening to me. Don't you love that?
I love
Do you love
that.
I love that. Can I get some hearts for that? Can I get some hearts?
Yes, you will get some.
Good things are happening
Donovan's taking notes. I know he's going to
take notes. All right. The next thing is keep it simple. You don't have to have 89 affirmations and all this. You can if you want to, if it helps you. But if you're like trying to lose weight, maybe that's something that you're focused on. Okay, if you're not, you just want to personally work on yourself. Then your affirmation can be, I want to live a healthier life so I can see my grandchildren grow up. Bam,
and
done.
Make it personal.
Start repeating that. Make it personal to you. Start repeating that every single day. All right. Yes. Positive things will happen to me. I love it. Okay, and then the next thing is continue that. Is that 4 or 5? What is that? Let's see, Donovan.
Donovan's on 3. I think you're on 4.
I think that's 4.
That might have been 4.
That's 4. Okay,
yes,
and then
this was 4.
Okay.
Thank you, Donovan.
All right. Yes. Okay. So the next thing is continue it every single day and use it in every situation. So if you are struggling and you could, with your own love of yourself, say, I love myself. Okay. So when you find you're frustrated because you're not where you want to be, or you think you should be further along, no, I love myself. Okay, it's very easy. I don't care if it's a scripture you love. I don't care if it's a phrase you love. I don't care if it's an affirmation. Choose something that's positive and keep it simple so you don't stress yourself out. You don't have to have a list of 15 things on your wall. If you want to do that, that's fine. But you don't have to. Okay, so I'm challenging everybody who watches this. Whenever you watch it, start the night that you watch it, including tonight. good things are happening to me, whatever you want to say. And that's the other thing. You don't have to tell anybody that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay? You can keep it to yourself. You can whisper it to yourself. Think it in your mind.
You know what? You don't have to tell. You actually should see if there's a different reaction after you start doing these things.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we want all of these. This person did
I want y'all to notice me. No.
But sometimes the first thing you can really change is yourself. So that's actually a good baseline that you say, okay, I'm going to just try these things and let me see if I show up different or if I get a different response.
And I think that you will notice that's going to happen. Thanks for the notes.
Thanks for the notes, Donovan.
Thank you for taking minutes for us. Yes. That is really a good point because watch what's going to, I guarantee you. Yeah. And again, I don't think this is going to, it's not going to be some overnight thing where you're a millionaire tomorrow. Yeah. I don't want to give you that impression. Well, you might be. You win the lotto or something like that. Whatever. Who knows? But I don't want to give you the impression that, I'm so magical, that everything in my life is going to go great from now on. I don't want to say that. But what I do want to say is you will notice a difference. And I really feel like things won't get you down as much because you'll be pumping yourself up. Even if it's, like I said, I love myself. Even if it's I love my family or, I am a successful business owner. Maybe you need to start claiming I'm a successful business owner. If it's something small, do it, stick with it. I love it. I hope you guys are going to do that. Y'all going to do that? Gonna likes, hearts, loves, what, you going to do it?
We're giving thumbs up. You give thumbs up here.
How do we do the messages? I think we got some messages. Somebody sent some messages.
They did?
Yeah. Is there a way for us to check that? Or an email or something. I think somebody sent us.
Did somebody send it? No. I will have to follow up because it's not showing up here. But I'm getting a lot of people's comments. I'm gonna
be real. I'm just gonna check to see if it's on here
really quickly.
Okay. Anything else that you're thinking of?
No. I thought these were excellent points. I love these are things that we can do today. And if you are a person that's out there, positive and whatever, thank you for that because many times you're inspiring people or you giving out positivity. And again, we're talking about ourselves today, but we're also talking about a legacy that we're providing for children, whether they be your own or other kids that you're within. Sometimes, kids are dealing with some hard things and on social media, the bullying, and sometimes really trying to lift them up and tell them how beautiful they are, how smart they are, and letting them know that they can do what it is. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing we're talking about is it is infectious, right? And so it takes one person at a time trying to, everybody doing their part. And, you're infectious. Just sharing this today. I mean,
if I can do it, seriously, if I can do it, because I really wasn't the most positive person.
Really?
I really wasn't.
What happened?
I think I didn't have a lot of confidence, and I was very shy when I was a kid, which is really interesting that I have the career that I have because I was super duper shy, and I didn't want to be seen. And that's the thing, I had these things in my head that I wanted to do. I always actually imagined myself being on television, but I didn't tell anybody that. I wanted to do hand modeling, but didn't tell anybody that. But I was really into myself and really introverted. And some people probably can relate to this. You're introverted, but you have an extroverted career or something like that. And so I think that was a lot of it. It was just confidence in building myself up. And somebody said to me recently, stop focusing on other people because you have to look at your journey and how far you've come. You didn't know anything about anything, and then you started your business and you started changing your life around and started coaching and started doing other things. So you guys have to do the same thing. You may not always have people around you, so that's why it's important for you to talk to yourself in a great way. Because you may not always have that person next to you, or they may not be able to answer the phone, or they may not be able to answer a text. So if you're having a mini meltdown, it's almost a way of self-soothing, like little kids do. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
This was so good. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have to have Havilland back because this is, this was just amazing, and I got so much. I mean, you see, Donovan was up here taking notes, so thank you. Special shout out again for him and just everybody that participated and any questions that you have. Is there anything, I know we talked about a lot of different things, but please, I got so much out of it. Please share your information. If people would like to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get
You can certainly reach out to me at HavillandMaxwell.com. We'll drop the link. Havilland@HavillandMaxwell.com is my email address. And I'm on Instagram at HavillandMaxwell and on Facebook at Havilland Creative Coach. And if you're interested, on December the 8th, I have a confidence on camera class.
Ooh,
so if you just want to stop looking like a deer in headlights on camera, you want to learn how to look better when you're doing Facebook Lives or doing promo videos or doing product videos or something like that for your business. Even if you don't have a business, you just want to learn how to stop looking all like you don't know what you're doing on camera. This workshop is for you. So you'll see that on my website. It's on December 8th. And then on December 12th, if you have a business and you're really worried about the new tax laws that are coming up for freelancers and small business owners, I have an accountant coming in to answer any and all of your questions to make sure that you get what you're supposed to be getting back next year. And so I want you to start prepping for that now. And that's on December the 12th. So if you want some help and you're a freelancer or a small business owner, I have a coaching program. And I'm going to be moving to an online coaching program, and I have a 9-week coaching program that is available to you guys. And we talk about a lot of this stuff. We talk about money mindset. We talk about successful mindset. We talk about, I help you create a 30-day marketing plan, all this good stuff that you need to have for your business. You can find that on my site as well. And that starts in January. So if you're interested, make sure you reach out to me, because I'm only allowing 10 people in that program, okay?
Well, I mean, we only was on the air, 40 minutes, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. So, again, I hope that you got some positive talk today and that you take these wonderful tips, because you are beautiful, you are smart, you're out there doing amazing things, and we just want you to say the same thing to yourself.
That's
because
right.
you know, we see it, and sometimes we're so close we don't see it ourselves.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
And that's what truly living is all about. So thank you again for tuning in to another episode. And again, another special thank you to Havilland. She was amazing. And please, Havilland, do you mind putting your email address, your website and everything posted, so that if they're seeing the show afterward.
And you get bonus points if you email me and tell me what your positive affirmation is.
I love it.
How
Please.
about
That would be great. That would be amazing.
So remember, you are a voice in this world and you deserve to be heard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at that. We got fireworks. Donovan is holding it down. All right. So with that, we'll say good evening, and to keep truly living and keep telling yourself all those positive, wonderful things. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.